Alright, it's about time I spoke on this. The fact is that the other day they convicted these two Steubenville, Ohio football players of rape of a young woman who was raped by these two men. And it's a tragedy for all involved, but when the media went out of their way to bring up that these two men had ruined their lives, but instead of saying that they had ruined their lives were ruined by this. As if the young woman wanted this brought on to herself. Let me make one thing absolutely crystal clear. Rape is never the victim's fault. I don't care what the woman is wearing. I don't care what the woman is saying. I don't care how the woman is acting. I don't care how drunk the woman is. I don't care how stoned the woman is. I don't care anything. If you force yourself on a woman sexually, that's rape. If she says no, and you keep going, and she's meaning no, that's rape. I'm sorry, that's the God's honest truth. And to say, well, she teased them and she this, that, yeah, have there been cases where women have cried rape and it wasn't in fact rape? Of course. They're few and far between. And generally, the shame is those women who do that hurt the ones that are legitimately raped. Like this young girl, who, by the way, whose name was broadcast all over Fox News the other day. And other media outlets also did the same damn thing. Both online and literally. It's ridiculous. In this day and age, you have people who for some god-awful reason think that a woman who is bearing her midriff or wearing shorts a little too short deserves to get raped. Now, could you say, well, maybe she shouldn't be wearing that, she might, you might say, maybe she shouldn't be bearing that much skin, but still. Does it mean she'd invited rape? Hell no. Maybe it may look a little tacky on her and all this, but, there have been women who wore burqas who've been raped. And case in point, Arab nations, the most strict Arab nations, the rapist will rape a woman and the woman gets accused of infidelity or adultery or whatnot because she had the audacity to be raped. And she gets the punishment while the guys go, well, you shouldn't have done that, but, it's the woman's fault anyway, so. I'm sick of it. I am so sick of hearing, oh, it's the woman's fault. Clearly it's the woman's fault. They certainly deserved it because they led the man on. They led the man in there. Mike Tyson raped a young woman. Yeah, the woman brought him up to her room at 4 a.m. in the morning. Or he brought her up, I should say. He brought her up to the room at 4 a.m. in the morning. Should she have gone up to his room at 4 a.m. in the morning? Probably not. Did she deserve to get raped for that? Hell no. And yes, Mike Tyson did rape this woman. Mike Tyson cost 3 good years of his boxing career because of it, and is damn lucky he got anything after that. The fact is, it was still rape. Just because a woman decides to go up to a guy's hotel room at 4 a.m. doesn't mean they deserve to get raped. It means they may be stupid, putting themselves and exposing, but hey, just because you walk through Compton wearing red colors in a blue area doesn't mean you deserve to get shot. It was a dumb thing to do, but hey, doesn't mean you should get shot for it. You can't excuse something stupid for committing a crime. And the fact is, let's face it, a lot of young women these days wear clothing that's way too revealing, and especially a lot of young women. Does that mean they deserve to get raped? Hell no. Does that mean they're asking for it? Hell no. Blaming the woman is stupid. Yeah, you could say, oh, well, she's wearing too... yeah, maybe she shouldn't be wearing that. But it's her right to wear it. She should be able to go, as long as it's within decent standards, as in not exposing her naughty bits, to wear whatever else she wants. If she wants to wear a sports bra and tight swim trunks, Speedos, down the streets of Forest City, Spindale, and Rutherford, she should have that right. As long as it's not exposing anything unnecessary, good luck to her. She's probably going to get a lot of stares, but she does not deserve to be raped. I go to Dragon Con. Hopefully I'll go this year. I missed last year. A lot of women wearing a lot of revealing outfits. Lovely thing. Do any of those women deserve to get raped? Hell no. They get groped. They shouldn't be groped. They get a lot of things done to them that, quite frankly, are obscene. I've never done anything like that because I figure I get slapped for it. I wouldn't do it because I'm a gentleman. I try to be a gentleman. Doesn't mean I don't think, hey, this lady would look very good in my bed, doing very naughty things, but generally I don't speak them or act upon them. But just because a woman dresses scantily at an event like this does not mean they want to bang you. Does not mean you can force them to bang you. Drag them to your hotel room, throw them on your bed, and have your way with them. Now, if you can talk to them and they like you and you like them and they're more than happy to go to your room to engage in carnal activities, then that is their right to do that. But be responsible. And also understand that when it comes to sex, if the woman says no, she means no. Sex is not a simple little thing, folks. You're sticking your thing into her. You're invading her body. You have the potential to get her pregnant. You have the potential to give her an STD. The woman's the one taking the risk here, not you. But of course, we still live in a male-dominated society, and therefore, even though we know better, and we should know better, somehow or another, we still blame the woman for getting raped. How dare she allow herself to get raped? Just because you wear tight clothing, expose some skin, doesn't mean you should be raped. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what kind of body you have. I don't care what ethnicity you are or whatnot. You have the right as a woman to feel safe whatever you're wearing, wherever you go. And as real men, we should make sure we respect women and their rights to safety and protection and whatnot. Real men should stand up to those phony men who want to violate these women's rights of safety and protection. Unfortunately, these two young boys who raped this young woman, unfortunately, for this young woman's sake, were protected by the jock culture. They almost got away with it. But there were people who stood firm and worked hard to get these two gentlemen, I shouldn't even say gentlemen, two jocks convicted of rape. They deserved what they got. They went before a jury, they were judged, and they were found guilty. Does that mean that they don't have the right to appeal? Of course they do. There may be extenuating circumstances that I don't know about. And if that's the case, fine. But they were judged by a court of law, and they were found guilty. That means they're guilty. That means they did it. It's sad, it's tragic that they made this mistake, but they did. It's their responsibility. They were the ones who did this. They only have themselves to blame. It's not the woman's fault. It's not the community's fault. It's not the parents' fault or anything like that. It is their fault. They're the ones that have to live with their crime. And unfortunately, there are people who, for some reason, want to make it the woman's fault. And they'll point to the Duke rape case a few years ago and say, see, men are not always guilty. The fact is, the media did rush to judgment in that. But that was because you had a woman who lied, blatantly lied, and nearly ruined the lives, or in fact did ruin the lives, of many of these young lacrosse players. But the fact is, we're not rushing to judgment here. They had their day in court. They were found guilty. They'll have the chance to appeal, which is their right. But for some reason, I don't know, we, for some reason as a society, think that it's a tragedy. Poor, pitiful two young men, they committed a rape. They were teased and tempted and brought upon and seduced by this young woman to rape this young woman so they can spend their youthful years in jail, which is a load of bull crap, because we all know that rape is not as much about sex as it is power and control, and these two big gentlemen probably outweighed this woman quite substantially. They were probably much stronger than she was. What's she to do? I mean, generally most young women are not going to be strong enough to fight off a football player. And that's the sad truth. Football players shouldn't rape women. No man should ever rape a woman. It's disgusting to even think that there are people, and this is what happened on CNN. Candy Crowley and some other female reporter acted almost sympathetically. Oh, the poor young men ruined their lives. They ruined their lives. It's not a tragedy on their part. Yeah, it's tragic they made this decision, but it's their own fault. They were the ones that did this. They have to live with it for the rest of their lives. And when they get out of jail, they'll have to go back to their communities and look into the eyes of those people who knew what they did. Yeah, there are going to be a few friends of theirs who are waiting for them to go, don't worry about it. We still like you, even though you got railroaded by that damn tramp, blah, 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 blah. It's going to be the people who really matter. The people who know that rape is wrong no matter what it is, no matter the circumstances. Unfortunately, this isn't going to be the last we hear of something like this. Sadly, we'll probably hear a lot more of it in years to come as the feminist movement continues to make inroads toward true equality in America, you're going to have the inevitable backlash. You've got conservatives who are, ranting and raving about this, that, and the other. It's just, to me, it's like this. I was raised to respect women. There are a lot of guys who weren't. They look at women and they're property. They're things to fornicate with. If she's got a nice rack and a nice butt, and she looks receptive to your advances, then it's your duty as a God-given man with full of testosterone and vim and vigor to take her to your bed and ravish her until she's, satisfied or, crying in pain because you violated her, because you raped her. Not all men are evil, obviously. Sadly, there are too many men in this world, and granted they are a minority, thank goodness, who seem to think that it's okay to take advantage of a woman when she's drunk. Or to take advantage of a woman when she's not of her full capacities. Stoned or, we've all seen women in situations where they're not in their best judgment. It's not right to take advantage of a woman. It's not right to do that because it's disgusting and it's disgraceful, and it just makes me sick. Unfortunately, there's still going to be plenty of people who say, well, the woman had it coming. She wore revealing clothes, she was drunk, she was flirtatious. Just because a woman flirts with you doesn't mean she wants to sleep with you necessarily. Or maybe she's thinking about it, but maybe it's her decision. She may make out with you. She may tease you a little bit. But just because she teases doesn't necessarily mean it's your right to score. She may say, nope, not tonight. Well, guess what? You got to go home, and you got to go home and do your business by yourself. Unfortunately, sad to say, you've got people in this world who seem to think that if a woman's a tease, she has it coming. If a woman takes the guy up to the point where she almost gives it to him and does it, then it's the man's God-given right to force it on her. Nope. Wrong. This has been building up for days ever since I heard about the verdict. And I started hearing about these media types who've been saying, oh, it's such a shame for these young boys. They've ruined their lives are ruined. They shouldn't have had to go through, they shouldn't have had to go through this because they should have had enough sense not to rape the woman to begin with. They should have had enough sense to respect the woman. They should have enough sense this young girl was drunk. They should have took her ass home to her parents and make sure she was safe so her parents could ream her out for getting drunk. Was it stupid for this young girl to get drunk when she should have known better? Hell yeah. Did she deserve to get raped? Hell no. Just because you're young and stupid and drunk doesn't mean you should be raped. Maybe I'm in the minority on that, but that's how I feel. Okay? Maybe it's because nice guys finish last. Like myself, it seems like. I at least can go home at night or during the day or whatever because I work 2 jobs and sleep is one of those luxuries to me. But at least I can sleep soundly knowing I don't have that on my conscience. And you damn well know there are plenty of men in this country who've raped women and they've never been charged. Because the woman's been pressured, no, don't do it, you can't do it, you had it coming, or no, it wasn't really rape, you let him on. So, and here's another thing that I find obscene. Oh, a woman who's raped should have her rapist child. It's God's gift to her. Let me put it to you this way. If somebody violates you and gets you pregnant, you shouldn't have to have that child. It wasn't conceived in love. Now, for the women that do, God bless them. God bless them. They're my heroes. Because I cannot imagine the pain and the difficult emotions that they have to go through knowing that they're bearing a child born out of a very violent and horrific act. But they have the courage to raise that child as their own, or at least have enough sense to give it up for adoption. More power to them. But you don't know what it's like to be raped. I'll never know what it's like, hopefully. Men can be raped too, by the way. They can't get pregnant, obviously, but they can be raped. But a woman having a rapist baby, I mean, here's my whole view, and I should do another show on abortion. If you want to really get a woman who's been raped to have a baby, offer her the services she needs to cope with this, to cope with being raped. It's a shame that women who are raped have so few services. And sometimes it depends on where you are. There are some places that have great services, other places where it's like if you get raped, well, it's tough for you, tough titty for you. You're gonna have to deal with it your own self, or you had it coming because you were sexually promiscuous. Even though there have been cases of virgins getting raped who basically were all their crime was walking down the street and looking halfway decent. Oh, should they ugly themselves up a little more? It makes me angry to think that there are people, especially women, and it seems like women are a lot of women will just throw a rape victim under the bus more than a man would. Oh, she shouldn't have led him on by flirting that way. She surely had. Look at what happened when Rihanna got hit by Chris Brown. You had women saying she deserved it. Young black women saying Rihanna deserved to get hit by Chris Brown because she went off on him. Rihanna found out that Chris Brown was getting texts from some other girl. She wasn't happy about it. Chris Brown hit her. Chris Brown was in the wrong. But yet, for some reason, there are some women who seem to think that Rihanna had it coming. What would have happened if Rihanna had gotten raped by Chris Brown? Think about it. What if Chris Brown, instead of hitting her, or instead of just hitting her, dragged her to a hotel room, viciously raped her, and got charged with it? Would the excuses be she had it coming? We would like to think not. But we know there would be plenty of people online who would say she had it coming. Rape is one of those things that I don't want to understand because I'm almost afraid if I do, it'll break my heart even more than thinking about it already does. There are many thousands upon thousands, probably maybe even millions of rape victims around the country and around the world who will never have their day in court and a chance at justice. Because society says you are not a victim, you had it coming. You're the one that committed the crime, not the rapist. And this isn't just happening in Afghanistan or Pakistan or some backwater country. It's happening right here. In urban areas and suburban areas and rural areas and whatnot, from East Coast to West Coast. How many rapes do not get reported because we shame the woman into not reporting it because we want to drag her whole sexual history because, oh, she may have slept around a little bit, but clearly, and this time around, she clearly led the guy on. I don't care how many lovers a woman's got. She could be sleeping with 100 other guys in completely consensuous activity. Just because 101 rapes her does not mean he has a free pass. I don't care if she sleeps with 1,000 guys. If 1,001 comes along and rapes her, he's still guilty of rape. I'm sorry, that's the truth. It's disgusting. It really is. But unfortunately, society dictates that we admonish rape victims. We have to have them cowering in fear because if they are exposed, they'll get ridiculed by those who say they had it coming, or those friends and family of those who committed the rape saying, you let him on, you're going to try and ruin his life, blah, 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 blah. It's a shame. But it's not really surprising. Not really. We've lived long enough, folks, to understand that society, even in this so-called advanced society, oh yeah, we're number one, hooray America, we still treat our women like crap. Despite all the advances we've made through feminism and equal rights and all this, we still treat them like crap. And that's why I'll stick up for the women. I'll stick up for the rape victims. I'll stick up for those who've been sexually molested. I'll stick up for those who've been forced into a life of prostitution or sexual, servitude or whatever against their will. It's sad that we blame the victims. Even to this day, we still blame the victims. In this country, in the supposed advanced, enlightened society, we still blame the victim. And we probably will until the end of time, because men think with their smaller head and not with their bigger head, and especially not with their heart. And think that a woman's price is in their bed and not. I'm sorry. It's pissed me off, and I'm kind of losing my train of thought. But women deserve respect. This young woman deserved respect, and the two men didn't give it to her. Instead, they violated her. And now they'll have to pay the price. And unfortunately, this young woman will have to pay the price too, because she is a victim, and thus she has to bear the burden of having dared to be raped in America. That's it for now. I'm John T. Hill. We'll talk to you later. Good night, good luck, and may the good news be yours.